Well, good morning, fans of James Goodman, Can It Pass Goodies, Winning Way Show, all those things that I love to do. So, we've got a big show today, and the show today is all about a couple of things to do with the operators and how racing is run in South Africa. And the big story, okay, is all about the NHA and the Palace Revolt within the NHA, which has come to fruition and ended up in most of the board of the NHA resigning. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Canterpass Goodies, which is doing very well, showing another good month, really nice profits. And if you'd like to subscribe or you'd like to get any further information, obviously just send us an email to canterpassgoodies@gmail.com or to our WhatsApp number, which we're going to put on the screen for you, so you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. But it's making very good money for the subscribers that we have, and we do have slots available. But let's go into the two things that are really concerning me today. And the first one is open maidens. Okay, an open maiden, for those of you that don't know about this, is a maiden plate that is a handicap. So basically the handicapper after 3 runs gives every horse a rating, and then you can put a horse in an open maiden. It can be a maiden that's had 5 or 6, or even if it's had no runs, can go in there, but it gets top weight, 61.5 or 61 kilos. The top weight is in an open maiden. And until you've got an assessment from the handicapper, you run off top weight. From there on, you run on handicap terms. Now, what is interesting is that there is a proliferation of these maiden handicaps in all race cards throughout South Africa. And why is that? So my theory is that actually the operators, who are now the bookmakers, they operate racing basically in South Africa, like open maidens, because it makes it a lot more difficult for a punter to back a horse in maiden company. Now, all through my years of being in this business, the one place you could back horses was in maiden plates, because the best horse won the race. It was set weights. Now that's not the case, and I'm going to prove that to you, because I've done the last 1 month of racing in South Africa, and I can tell you, go back further, it's going to be a lot worse than this. But there have been 5 open maiden winners, okay, who have had top weight. Now, the top weight is the best horse, or a horse that hasn't got a rating. So it's a bit skewed, because sometimes you get a horse that's had 1 run, he gets top weight, and he hasn't got a rating yet. So basically, if he's got a lot of ability, he'll go and win the open maiden. But if he hasn't got any ability, he will skew the statistics. So what do the operators want? They want to make as much money as they can, obviously. And how do they make their money? By betting. Okay. Now, the more favorites that get beaten in open maidens, the more money they're making. We're working out at about 22 open maidens last month, and 5 top weights won. Of those, and if you go back and look at the favorites, only 4 favorites won open maidens in the last month. So that means that you're running at under 20% winners in maiden plates. Now, maiden plates statistically and historically run at over 35% winners when it's just a maiden plate for the favorite. Now, the favorite is normally the best horse in the race, which is normally the top weight. So you see where I'm getting to. It's a disaster. And on top of that, it skews the stud book because a horse gets a win behind its name when it shouldn't have won. Some horses that win open maidens should never ever win. But the point being is that the dog's gone mad and no one's letting him out. Okay, now he's out, thank goodness. Most disturbing trying to do these things with the dog running around and disturbances the whole time. Anyway, I'm past it. You see what I'm getting at? Open maidens, they're not good for racing. They're really bad for racing. If you look at the plus side, what is the plus side? The plus side is some battling maiden will fall over the line to win a race every now and again and help who? The guy's kept it in training for 12 runs or 15 runs and hoping to get a win. No. That's not how horse racing works. The best horses got to win, and the punters have got to be given an opportunity to be able to back winners. So that's the first thing. Just getting back to Canter Pass Goodies, as I said, we run 2 subscription services now. One, the 2,000 Rand subscription service, which is where you get 10 minutes before the race, you get a call of what horse you should be backing. And you also get the preview, which you get on the service, which is and does not give you the call. The preview, every single race day, I do a preview of a race meeting and give you how you should be playing your exotics, where the potential bankers are, but it's going extremely well. So let's move on to the next topic, and this is the thing that really, really fascinates me. And I'm going to read you the letter replying back from, well, I'm not going to read it to you. I'm just going to give you the thing, to NHA members, okay? This is a response to the October the 25th letter that was sent out. And basically, just to outline what's happened, is that it looks like the operators and their allies have a palace revolt in the Jockey Club, the NHA. Now, what I want you to understand first and foremost, I've had my run-ins with the Jockey Club and the NHA, and many of them, and it's cost me and it's cost them a lot of money. But I stick up for my principles and I say what I think's right. The NHA is a statutory body to run racing. Okay. The board of directors of the NHA, and this is something that I've never agreed with, which could have been attacked in a different way. The board of directors are put in place by previous directors. Okay. They have a board that puts in place a new board of directors. That never worked. To me, it always smelt of nepotism and buddies operation. And as a result, you've got guys in the NHA who are sitting on the board of the NHA, and the board actually controls the NHA. We've got to understand that. Which wasn't good. So now what has happened is that the operators, which is for racing and Cape Race, or Race Coast as they call themselves now, which is KwaZulu-Natal and Cape Town, decided with the help of the SANTA, the South African National Trainers Association, the Racehorse Owners Association, and the jockeys joined up with the trainers in some way. And they've now decided that they're going to decide on the contents of the board, and the board shall be 5 people, okay? And the 5 people shall be a representative from the For Racing, a representative from Race Coast, a representative from the Trainers Association, a representative from the Owners Association, and another. Now, remember what I said at the start. The NHRA is a statutory body to control racing. I think it should have been done completely differently. The way I would have done it is that the board should be an independent board, okay, put in place by the members of the NHRA, okay, so that you have a members meeting, you have a ballot, and you vote people in. That board should then set up subcommittees, and there should be no trainers on it, no jockeys on it, no owners on it, no breeders on it. They're all They're all offshoots of the NHRA. They can't control how the regulatory body runs racing, and certainly not the two main operators of racing in South Africa. So the board should be totally independent and voted on by the members. Once you have a board, then what happens is, what should happen, in my opinion, is that you should have various committees that are representative of those factions. So you have a trainers committee, which looks at all the things to do with trainers, and that has trainers on it and board members on it. You then have an owners committee, which have owners on it and board members on it. You have a jockeys committee, which have jockeys on it and board members on it. Never in a situation where the jockeys, trainers, owners, or breeders can outvote the committee. Okay, the committee has got to have the final say. But what it does is it gives every entity in racing a mouthpiece through the NHRA, but not control of it. Now, I agree with Susan Rowett. She said, and I'm going to say to you what she said, because they were extremely annoyed about it. She says, basically, they've hijacked the NHRA. I agree with her. I think that's what they've done. And they say, no, they haven't hijacked the NHRA, because the 5 members of the board, only 2 of them are operators. That's Race Coast and For Racing. Ha ha, you're quite right, only 2 of you are. But then look at the trainers and jockeys representative. Who sponsors every trainer and jockey worth their salt in South Africa? The bookmakers. So then they control the board. It will be 3 against 2. It's 5 players. The owners are not going to get involved in any real fight. They've got representative as well. And then there's an independent. Well, who knows who the independent will be and how he'll go. So it's a really, really nefarious situation set up by a bunch of people who want to control this industry. I think it's incredibly wrong. I believe that there's a meeting in November of members, and I think that the members should vote against this. I reckon that the members should have an independent board of the NHRA. I know there's all these niggles and fights with chief executives and racing executives, and people can't stand these people in power. They have got a job to do. They're paid to do a job. The board controls them. The board should be an independent board. It should have no members of any of those associations on there. It should be a board that sets up subcommittees that then look at the grievances and problems all those associations have, or all those people that are associated with racing has. I know the operators have turned around and said for years and years and years, we pay for the NHRA to be run. Because they do. They contribute to their expenses. That's not the point. You've got to pay for the NHRA to be run. NHRA is a statutory body. Never lose sight of that, and it should be totally independent. Just on a final word on that, I would, in that situation, do what I've set out, but the other thing I would do is I'd take the laboratory away from the NHRA. I would give it to an independent and make sure that the laboratory is run by an independent on the basis that it be fair and uncompromising. I don't believe it's fair or uncompromising. I've had my run-ins with them and I know what the situation is. Anyway, as you see, I have a lot to say, and I hope that you've enjoyed what I've got to say, because I like having my say. And I love to hear what anyone else has got to say. And I'd love to debate anyone out there in this industry on this platform as to whether I'm right or wrong. But I must tell you, I've approached all the main players, and none of them have agreed to even speak to me. That's why I'm putting out this video. Hope you enjoy it. Remember, Canopass goodies. If you want to join, the application form will be sent to you. We'll give you all the information in the script below. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy this.